It is Luke Skywalker Friday evening. Come, let us explore brisk walking meditation for anxiety. This evening's lesson is drawn from a good-hearted question found on Reddit. Let us begin with a bit of the old neuroscience. So, in this region of our brain, right here, we have an almond-shaped object known as the amygdala. It functions as the seat of both aggression and anxiety. This is not a flaw in our evolution. This is a feature, and this has kept our species alive for 300,000 years and other species for even longer periods of time. But like all tools, it can be mishandled, and when it is mishandled, it is really destructive. In fact, the more we are anxious, the more trauma we endure, the bigger and stronger and metaphorically louder that amygdala becomes. Fortunately, evolution has our back. So let's begin with the neuroscience of mindfulness. Every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, we automatically access the sympathetic nervous system located in the middle third of our spinal cord. This bad boy has evolved to help us perceive in a very special way. To help us perceive vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly, which, as you can tell, is the opposite of concentration. You see, concentration will actually trigger our amygdala, whereas mindfulness and the sympathetic system that supports mindfulness will actually calm our amygdala. So we've evolved to perceive in this manner, but what is the object of our perception? We've evolved to perceive mind's antics of seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, smelling, and the like, including emoting, intending, reasoning, recalling, and imagining. Now, this might seem a trifle overwhelming, but it is as easy as silently and mentally reciting the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation. Well, we've noticed those things. Now, what are we going to do with those things that we've noticed? This brings us now to meditation. For every time we exhale, we are already wired to access our parasympathetic nervous system. Located in both the lower third as well as the upper third of that same spinal cord, this parasympathetic nervous system has evolved to support both physical relaxation as well as mental release. In fact, it supports us to relax in such a manner that which we perceive during our previous inhalation can fleetingly seem a trifle less solid, less permanent, less defining. And it too is quite simple. It is as easy as silently and mentally reciting the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation. Now, there will be some times when we really feel the need to bring out the big guns. And that's what I really, when I recommend brisk walking meditation. So this isn't slow motion walking. This is brisk walking. If you are really in great turmoil, I don't recommend crossing the street. I recommend just walking around your block. And you can do this for 20 or 40 or 60 minutes. You could do this once every 12 hours. It could really help. Now, because of the physiology of brisk walking, we'll have to change some of our verbiage. So what that could look like is replacing the word this with a silent and mental recitation of the verb perceiving. And also replacing the recitation of the verb ease with the silent and mental recitation of the verb releasing. Now, these are not affirmations, because an affirmation is a lie you tell yourself as an act of magical thinking. What we're doing is we're labeling processes in motion, in the moment, in an effort to coax our cerebral cortex to stop ignoring or obstructing our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems and instead cooperating with them. That's all meditation is. It's getting our brain to cooperate with itself in the most healing and wonderful way. Now, if we do these things, will our past rewrite itself? No. Will we forget everything bad that ever happened? No. But we could process the bad things that happen. We could process our experiences and our propensities and our fears. Doing this regularly calms our amygdala. But it is two additional fabulous things I'd like to bring to your attention. While calming our amygdala, it also stimulates our anterior cingulate gyrus, the thing that kind of looks like a backwards letter C. Doing so, you see this anterior cingulate gyrus functions as the hub of our mirror neurons, the seat of empathy and compassion and love. This is why the late Tulku Thondup insisted that the highest love is not the product of concentration and analysis, for those things only excite our aggression and anxiety. Instead, he taught that the highest love is the spontaneous and uncontrived byproduct of mindfulness and meditation. The third benefit of this regular practice is that our choices, utterances, and deeds begin to flow more and more from the effortless effort of love's centered spontaneity. No, not its scattered spontaneity. Au contraire, it's centered spontaneity. This will help us to react to life with greater skill and greater grace and greater wisdom. So instead of relying upon fear and our controlling tendencies to crawl our way through life, we can, like a fellow with a board, surf our way through life. I do look forward to practicing with you together as a team after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I've spent about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that you would not have to. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. Tonight, let us practice the latest iteration of All Good One's easy meditation. You might ask, who is All Good One? All Good One is simply an archetype of enlightenment. And we will explore 4 facets of his iconography this evening. Actually, more like 8, but one mustn't split hairs. Harken back to junior high when our gym teacher would have us first warm up, then exercise, then cool down. We're going to follow a similar outline tonight. The view of reality that supports letting go is the first fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. It is known by many names, including Mahayoga's wisdom warm-ups. Please chant with me. Rather than indulge or controlling tendencies with our follies of active visualization, emotion, magic, and belief, we could recite these wise words in harmony with our breathing and allow our subconscious to do the heavy lifting. Let us therefore sidestep the rigidity that confuses metaphors for statements literal, and relax into the flexibility that savors the chance explaining metaphors as similes. So, consider this word may. May is not an inference of supplication to an imaginary celestial entity. We are simply using words to guide our own intention. Consider the word circumstances. The Buddha was fond of describing all that could be perceived in mindfulness in terms of the 4 bases of mindfulness: the circumstantial, the physical, the interpersonal, and the mental. We're using lots as a monosyllabic synonym for circumstances. Every complex animal on this planet has evolved to think symbolically. Therefore, it should come as little surprise that in every human civilization we find figures of speech. We're going to use the verb melt as a metaphor of impermanence. We're going to use the inference of absorption as a metaphor of interdependence. Finally, just as a forester might use fire to fight fire, in the peak of irony, we're going to use self-centeredness to transcend the tyranny of self-centeredness. Together, let's chant. Let's see, got to make sure that the audio is recording real quick because sometimes it stabs me in the ankle. Okay, excellent. May we see how all circumstances or lots could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this body or form. We now take all these words and compress them into 6 syllables that we divide between our inhalation and our exhalation. Together. May we feel how all bodies or speeches, may we feel how all bodies or forms could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this communication or speech. May we hear how... May we hear that all interpersonal speech could be as impermanent and interdependent as if it could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this mind. We now take all these words and allow them to coalesce into just 6 syllables that we divide between our inhalation and our exhalation. Once one develops an interest in the teachings of the Buddha, it doesn't take very long until one stumbles upon the word empty or emptiness. Sadly, most explanations assume the word emptiness is being used literally, and that always results in rigidity and confusion. However, once we use emptiness as a figure of speech, its meaning reveals itself. Now, any English teacher worth their salt will remind us that a simile is only as useful as it is relatable. So on the next page, we're going to explore a real-world example of a non-graspable, vast empty void. Please chant with me, beginning with the word may. May we feel her while perceiving, emoting, intending, thinking, recalling, and imagining minds could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into a vast empty void. Like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although tantalizing to the eye, could be not graspable to the hand. We now turn to the 7th and 8th folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path, Hatha Yoga's mindfulness and meditation. Just as you would not wish to take a luxury car off-roading, the vehicle of Hatha Yoga's mindfulness and meditation derives upon the metaphoric path of Anu Yoga's energy work. I've studied many forms of energy work, and I found that Mudra Yoga's finger-oriented energy work is the most efficient. So what we're going to do right now Thank you for your patience. So, allow me to show you the first of 4 ways of gathering collections of our left hand's 8 sets. Our left hand's 8 sets and our right hand's 8 rounds. For that, I will draw your attention to Jumbo Can. So a round is simply 1 inhalation and 1 exhalation. After all, if we don't exhale, we'll probably turn blue, tip over, wiggle funny, and scare the dog. also known as by its true title, our canine overlord. So every time we exhale, we can advance our right thumb. And so over the span of eight exhalations, our thumb could be moved thusly, always beginning with the little finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. To increase the duration of our meditation, we count sets upon our left hand. Our first set of 8 rounds. Our second, third, fourth set of 8 rounds. Our fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth set of 8 rounds. Now, if this feels ungainly, that's okay. Repetition is the mother of skill. Come to these live streams once every 12 hours, and within a week or two, you can master everything contained therein. So I mentioned 4 collections. To keep track of our first collection, we're going to rest the great knuckle at the base of our right little finger upon the tip of our left little finger in our lap, palms up, so our thumbs can happily count creases. As a fringe benefit, this will invite our subtle energies to coalesce in the bladder region of our lower abdomen. Let's meditate. We turn our attention now to our second collection of our left hand's 8 sets. And our right hand's 8 rounds. So I guess I would be smart if I put this right there. Allow me to remind you that by resting the great knuckle at the base of our right ring finger upon the tip of our left ring finger in our lap, we are inviting our subtle energies to coalesce in the navel region of our mid-abdomen. Tuku Tandap taught that mindfulness was simply watching the antics of mind. Did you know there is a way to notice, vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly, but notice what? Notice mind's antics of perception. You know, seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, smelling, and the like, including emoting, intending, reasoning, recalling, and imagining. The easiest way to do all this is to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation. Allow me to remind you that spiritually protective noticing is vulnerable. This is so important that it's made its way into the iconography of tantric art. For instance, the nudity of Kuntu Zangpo Yabyum reminds us of the vulnerability crucial to mindfulness. Chagdud Tulku taught us that meditation is simply relaxing into the nature of mind. There is a way to relax in harmony with our exhalation that causes that which we perceived during our previous inhalation to fleetingly feel less solid, less permanent, and even less defining. The easiest way to, when that happens, and this whole experience is expressed in the iconography, that we see that when this tantra couple is painted, the translucence reminds us of the relaxation into the nature of mind. What's the easiest way to do this? To silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation. Let's meditate. We come now to our third of fourth collection of 8 sets of 8 rounds. On our right hand, we can advance the right thumb during each inhalation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Thus we count 8 rounds. On our left hand, we can count 8 sets of 8 rounds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We can rest the great knuckle at the base of our right middle finger upon the tip of our left middle finger in our lap, palms up, so that our thumbs can happily count creases. Doing so invites our subtle energies to coalesce at our chest, or in our chest. The key to mindfulness is to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation. The key to meditation is to silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation. Doing so calms our amygdala, the seat of aggression and anxiety, and stimulates our anterior cingulate gyrus, the seat of empathy and compassion and love. This is explicit iconographically, with the words, "Their beauty reminds us of the highest love, which is spontaneous and uncontrived." We come now to the fourth collection of 8 sets of 8 rounds. To keep track of this fourth collection, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right index finger upon the tip of our left index finger in our lap, palms up, so that our thumbs might happily count creases. Allow me to remind you the key to mindfulness is to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation. The key to practicing meditation is to silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb during each exhalation. If you persist in this, you will find that your choices, utterances, and deeds begin to flow with the effortless effort of love's centered spontaneity. Not scattered spontaneity, but centered spontaneity. This is the 6th fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path, and in terms of iconography it is described thusly. His stability reminds us of centeredness, and her abandon reminds us of spontaneity. Put it together, and what do you get? Centered spontaneity. Welcome to this evening's live stream. We now switch gears from silent meditation to mantra meditation. Let us begin with a description of the meaning of this mantra. Please chant with me. I invoke teachers on action of meditation and Hungvu than the Benza Tantric. Guru teachers pay my enlightenment and siddhi abilities whom may be mastered by all. So, allow me to share with you the mechanics of mantra meditation. By the way, we're going to play with this mantra for 9 sets of 12 repetitions. During the final 4 sets of 12 repetitions, we're going to practice mantra loving kindness. During the first 5 sets of 12 repetitions, we're going to be practicing mantra meditation. During our inhalation, we could silently and mentally recite relaxing into this. But what is this? This is whatever we notice. This could be sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, scents, or the like, including emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, or imaginings. It could pertain to an entire spectrum of phenomena, from the external to the internal, from the physical to the mental, from the pleasurable to the painful, from the interesting to the boring, from the glorious to the grotesque. During our exhalation, we physically relax as best we can while striving to chant this 12-syllable mantra 3 times per breath. Now, if this is your first time hanging out with me or hanging out with me, please give yourself permission to have a learning curve. The top priority is not how fast you recite the mantra or how melodiously you chant the mantra. The top priority is noticing as you breathe in and relaxing as you breathe out. That's it. Now, to keep things easier, for the mantra meditation, each finger will represent 1 breath. Each set of creases will represent 1 repetition. Let's dig in. Om Ahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung 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 Om Ahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung. And through the magic of multiplication, we just collected our first set of 12 repetitions. To keep track of our second set, we can touch the tip of our left thumb to our left index finger and rest the back of our left hand upon our left thigh. Om Ahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung 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 Om Ahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hum. To keep track of our third of 9 collections of 12 repetitions, we could touch the tip of our left thumb to our left middle finger, resting the back of our left hand upon our left thigh. Om Ahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung. 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 To keep track of our fourth collection of 12 repetitions, we could touch the tip of our left thumb to the tip of our left ring finger, resting the back of our left hand upon our left thigh. Om Ahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung. 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 To keep track of our fifth collection of 12 repetitions, we could touch the tip of our left thumb to the tip of our left little finger, resting the back of our left hand upon our left thigh. Om Ahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung. 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 Loving kindness comprises 50% of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Therefore, let us practice Mahayoga's compassionate cool down, also known as mantra loving kindness. Please chant with me. Oh, if you just joined us, welcome aboard. Rather than indulge or controlling tendencies with the follies of active visualization, emotion, magic, and belief, we could just recite these kind words in harmony with our breathing and allow our subconscious to do the heavy lifting. Let us therefore sidestep the rigidity that confuses metaphors or statements literal, and relax into the flexibility that savors the chance explaining metaphors as similes. To keep track of our sixth of 9 collections of 12 repetitions, again let us touch the tip of our left thumb to the tip of our left little finger, resting the back of our left hand upon our thigh. May we be a font of blessing for all upon who we think, or who think of us together. May all minds of all beings now be as peacefully enlightened as the mind of a real or imagined Buddha symbolized by a uncertain seed or bija mantra. We now take all these words and coalesce them into just 6 syllables that we divide between our inhalation and our exhalation. Om Mahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung 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 Om Mahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung. The mental morality of kind intention is the second fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. To keep track of this, our 7th collection, the 7th of 9 collections of 12 repetitions, we could touch the tip of our left thumb to the tip of our left ring finger, resting the back of our left hand upon our left thigh. May we be a font of blessing for all who we listen to, speak to, or speak of, and for all who listen to us, or speak to us, or speak of us. May all relationships or speech of all beings now be as joyfully loving as a real or imagined Buddha speech symbolized by a multisyllabic mantra. Om Mahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung 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 Om Mahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung. The interpersonal morality of kind communication is the 3rd fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. We come now to our 8th of 9 collections of 12 repetitions, which we keep track of by touching the tip of our left thumb to the tip of our left middle finger, resting this left hand upon our left thigh. May we be a font of blessing for all who we touch or who touch us. May all bodies or forms of all beings now enjoy the beautiful help represented by Buddha statuary, depicting the blissful body of a real or imagined Yadam archetype of enlightenment such as Kundu Zangpo. maziri hung om, ahum benzo guru me maziri hung om, ahum benzo guru me maziri hung. Om ahum benzo guru me maziri hung om, ahum benzo guru me maziri hung om, ahum benzo guru me maziri hung. Om ahum benzo guru me maziri hung om, ahum benzo guru me maziri hung om, ahum benzo guru me maziri hung. Om ahum benzo guru me maziri hung om, ahum benzo guru me maziri hung om, ahum benzo guru me maziri hung. The physical morality of kind conduct is the fourth fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. We now come to the 9th of 9 collections of 12 repetitions, which we keep track of by touching the tip of our left thumb to the tip of our left index finger, resting the back of this hand upon our left thigh. May we be a font of blessing. Oopsie. 1, 2, 3, 4. Aha. May we be a font of blessing for all who we see or who see us. May all circumstances or lots of all beings know have the same fortune or boon. As a Buddha's real or imagined paradise, pure land of Vati. Welcome to the tail end of this evening's live stream. As we breathe in silently and mentally, we can recite Vati Boon for our lots, which is just a rather metaphoric way of wishing that everybody receive circumstantial good fortune, especially all who are subject to the tyranny of sexism or racism or homophobia or classism or fascism or jingoism or genocide. So during our exhalation, we physically relax as best we can while striving to chant this 12-syllable mantra 3 times per breath. Om ahum benzo guru me maziri hung om, ahum benzo guru me maziri hung om, ahum benzo guru me maziri hung. Om ahum benzo guru me maziri hung om, ahum benzo guru me maziri hung om, ahum benzo guru me maziri hung. Om ahum benzo guru me maziri hung om, ahum benzo guru me maziri hung om, ahum benzo guru me maziri hung. Om ahum benzo guru me maziri hung om, ahum benzo guru me maziri hung om, ahum benzo guru me maziri hung. The circumstantial morality of kind commerce is the 5th fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. I sincerely hope you found this to be beneficial. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 10 2/3 hours, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's early meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you. always.